Let's get this in one take and one take only.
One take.
Ding, 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 ding,
Gets the people going.
ding. Hey guys.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Welcome back to another episode of Insert Subject here. I'm Makia.
I'm Ant.
And thanks for stopping by. Now, housekeeping. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the page, turn the notification bell on, ding-a-ling-a-ling, and keep the conversation going in the comment section below.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
How are you, Anthony?
I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
I feel a little rickety.
Rickety?
Yeah, it's so much going on.
That's a word.
You know, they saying mask off. Take the mask
take
off.
the mask off.
I'm a little concerned. I don't know if I'm ready to take the mask off.
I ain't ready yet. I ain't gonna lie to you. It makes me a little uncomfortable, and I'm cool with my mask right now.
Yeah.
They just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look like the weirdo because I'm wearing my mask.
And I feel like I'm ready to, what do they say, raw dog some air? I'm really ready to do so. But it's like double dutch. Like I want to, don't want
She
to.
said raw dog some air.
I really miss, being able to and not have it like all stuck.
Yeah, I feel you. And my masks have the filters in them now too, so it's a lot more difficult to breathe. But I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Just some free air flowing through your nostrils would be cool. Freebase some air.
Yeah. So I'm a little about that today. How about yourself?
That's been the talk of the town because I was looking through emails and our daughter is in gymnastics and the gymnastics place was like, yeah, I know they said no mask, but we gonna ease people back in. And I thought that was a perfect way to do it. Like you can't just go from mask for a year and a half or a year and some months to no mask now, we good.
Yeah. And also the secretary of our work for the state and the secretary has issued a memo today. I don't know if you got to see that, but he's saying that state employees and visitors no longer are required to wear a mask in buildings.
Yeah, so we're in two different agencies. So on our call this morning, they was like, yeah, we still wearing masks.
But this is Secretary Brinkley at DBM. So.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Yeah.
So today.
What about your friends?
Are they gonna bump your man? Are they gonna take your land? Hey.
Oh, what about your friends?
Are they gonna be loyal? Or are they gonna take your boo?
Oh my God.
Or will they turn your backs on you?
Yo. I was gonna egg on though. I was gonna keep going to egg on.
Friends are not what friends used to be. And I know by now y'all have heard of Fallon, Simon, and Theodore. I mean, Porsha whore. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard about this. And there's so much controversy. And I was even talking to one of our old co-workers, Nikki, and we were talking back and forth because I made a post on our IG page, and here's the IG page if you're interested. Oh, and we have a Facebook too.
We Facebook page now, Shawty. Come with us.
IGing and Facebooking. And, it's a lot of controversy around this whole Porsha, Simon, Fallon thing. And Porsha was saying that they were never friends. Now, here's my thing, because a lot of us, friendships are different for different people.
Yes, they are.
Some people think that they're your friend, and you're like, no, that's just an acquaintance of mine. We just, are very surface, And so here's my thing. Porsha invited Fallon onto the show.
Yes.
And mind you, she met Fallon because her daughter's father and Simon were doing business things. They were running in the same.
Can we pause there?
All right.
They were business acquaintances, but they ran the same type of businesses, restaurants, nightclubs. So I'm pretty sure they're crossing paths quite often.
Definitely.
And especially when you're taking your spouse or significant other out with you, we're all crossing paths quite often.
Correct.
So that was what I like.
And then to take it a step further, Fallon invited Porsha to her house, whether it was taping or whatever, at least two times, because it was the first time when she had the little pool party, and then the second time when she had the Halloween party. Now, listen here. When I invite you to my home, that does not invite you into my life, or my husband's life,
or our bed,
that's what it is. And so, because y'all are vacationing together, you can't say to me, "Oh, we were not friends," because y'all were in some sort of conjugal relationship. And when I say conjugal, it doesn't necessarily mean the boinking type of conjugal.
Visits. What is going on?
But conjugal, I think of that as togetherness. Now, whatever kind of togetherness you are is up to you. But that's just my thoughts on it. When that's just setting up a clear line that you do not cross.
Yeah.
And with us having 3 girls and Porsha having a daughter, you don't really know this man
at all. No, you might.
I mean, you might.
We don't know how many times little PJ done been around that man.
That is
with
correct.
Them. Like that's the tough part about this interaction, because you don't judge what happened in your house, like the relationship episode we had, the relationship-ish. What works for you works for you. However, it kind of get a little tricky when it comes to like this level of what works for you. Like we didn't get married, but you are dating a man who filed for divorce in January, not divorced. And this is a friend of yours that you've had on the show. We've interacted with these people. As your ex-boyfriend, I feel away. And I think I'm entitled to feel away, because it's like, all right, well, how long you been checking y'all?
Right.
But what's the boy name? What's the baby father name?
Dennis.
Dennis don't look like he bothered.
Oh no, he was like
he looked like Porsha was for the streets, and that was the point I wanted to make. Like women who do that, are you thinking about what people think about you? I could care less what people think about me, but are you thinking about how it looks when you're a parent? To your child, when they go back and read all these tabloids and these shade room posts that don't go nowhere, and video clips of you being a possible home wrecker, or wait, you didn't marry my daddy, but you married Like,
it causes
do you think about that? Yeah, and then you got to answer these questions, or do you just tell them shut up?
Yeah,
it's tough.
It is tough. What else you got?
So I know everybody has heard about the fiasco that is the Joe Budden Network, Joe Budden Podcast. As we tape, I was watching new stuff today about the former co-host of one of his shows, Olivia Dope, coming out and saying she felt like she was sexually harassed on the episode. And before I go into like the gist of the JVP thing, because I want to set it up before we get into the conversation, because this is where the bulk of my questions came from about what about your friends. The Olivia Dope situation, I watched that episode when it came out. I felt like the podcast kind of sucked. That show sucked to me. I was telling McKay, I like Bridget Kelly's takes on things, but I didn't like the dynamic of the 3 people together. And Olivia Dope was somebody that nobody knew about. So I watched that episode live and I was like, yeah, Joe bugging. But I felt like he was bugging to get ratings because nobody was watching their show. So if you on the network and you got shows that are doing 10,000, 12,000 views, and this show's getting like 4,000, you're trying to figure out how to get this up to the 10,000, 12,000 views. So I think he went on there with his salacious manner, and because I watched his show, I know it didn't come off to me. I'm not going to minimize how she feels because her perception's her perception. But it didn't come off to me as if he was sexually harassing her. He was saying stuff that it was banter being created, and everybody was going back and forth with him, including her. So it was weird that now that all the things is falling apart and the show, the other 2 co-hosts left, that now she comes out with this. It's weird to me. It was just very weird to me. But if you don't know what's going on with the Joe Budden Podcast, the 2 co-hosts that started the show, Rory and Maul, decided to part ways with the show. And they parted ways behind a whole bunch of different things because everybody came out with their own little rendition of what the truth is. It was their side, it was his side, the truth's somewhere in the middle, but they left because the accounting didn't seem right. They didn't have access to it, and they signed a profit sharing partnership. They didn't have any rights to the intellectual property of the show, but Joe Budden made the decisions because it was his IP, but they had a problem with him making decisions. And because of that, they decided to leave. He got 2 new people in, but it felt like the Joe Budden podcast might be getting ready to go away. Just watching the stuff I'm watching, it doesn't feel the same. And I think he's going a different lane with the other 2 people that he's working with, which I'm completely fine with because I like that dynamic better. I'm an old dude. I don't want to keep hearing young people stuff. Like, give me the old dude takes. I'll take it. But I was sitting there and I was saying to my kid, like, the weird part for me is, if we're friends and we have this friendship where we've been to jail together, we've lived together, we've been broke together, we've gone to strip clubs together, we've done everything together for years, and business gets involved. First, how do you feel about business with friends?
Well, I feel like things have to be clearly defined ahead of time. I feel I'm really big on communication and transparency. And like I have, I wouldn't say it's a business, but like a little venture that I'm doing with a few of my friends. We love to dance. So we have put together different dance classes.
Shameless plug,
808. I'm going to link that information up. And we used to do dance classes and we would sell tickets and invite people to come and dance with us. And it was very innocent and harmless. It still is. Like we're in the process of revamping that right now. And when it gets to the point of, okay, if this is going to be profitable, if this is going to be something that we're going to put in on, because right now we put in on everything equally. And that's how we started it. And so I feel like needs to be this communication piece where everyone needs to be on the same page first before you even do anything. And
I wholeheartedly agree. And that was a good point you made. Right now, y'all put everything in together. Y'all are covering all these costs equally. Well, what if it was just you? And in the instance of the Joe Budden podcast, I feel like that's what happened. It was just him footing the bill, and it's just me. Consistency leads to complacency, which ultimately leads to conflict. So if I'm used to you covering the bill for everything, and then we start getting money, the conflict gonna come now, because I done got comfortable just getting this little bit of money. We busting down $5,000 is easy, but now you talking about $400,000 deals. What we doing?
Yeah.
And the conflict had to come, but I take the stance, and I'll be the first to say everybody is against Joe Budden. I feel like how he said what he said, his delivery was completely wrong. I feel what he said was completely right. If I have to put the bill for all of this, all these lights and all the people here, who are you to question any decision I make?
Well, and that's where it goes back to what was the conversation beforehand.
Good point.
So
I don't think they had one though.
Probably not.
I don't think they had one. So that was the one thing. It was the friends and business for me, and then it was the other portion is it was the split was weird. Like Maul and Joe Budden had been friends for over 10 to 12 years. But Rory and Joe Budden had been friends for like 5. And I guess the part, and I'm saying this as a question to you, because my mind can't wrap around either way. Joe felt the way that Maul took Rory's side. Because you've been my friend longer. We've gone through more together. I don't know how I feel about that.
See, I have friends that I've been with for years. I had 2 friends that I have known since middle school. And then I have friends that I have just met recently. And I would say within the past 5 years. It really depends on your connection with the person.
Okay.
Because, you know, people that I were friends with back in elementary, middle, high school, we kind of split up. And it's, you wanted to do this with your life. I wanted to do this with my life. So we're not on the same page.
That's fair.
You may not have kids. You may
That's
not
fair.
be married. You may not want to travel. It's a whole lot of things. So I feel like in your life, you can connect with and get closer to certain friends at certain times. And then sometimes you may start to lean towards those friends more than people you may have known longer. I don't feel like time is a determinant, but I feel like it's just that
both words could work though, Tom. But back to you.
That was the it's just about the connection.
So, and that's kind of how I felt too. But it was I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. Like, it's about the connection. It doesn't matter how long ago the connection was made or how short, because like you said, some parts of your life you might bond with somebody over something that's important to you now, but But the stuff that was important back then, it changed. But y'all don't change the bond that they had. Mm-hmm. But I think when Maul was doing his response, he was like, I wasn't on Rory's side. I was on the side of what was right. I felt that. And morally, he felt like he was doing what was right. It didn't matter which one of you it was because it was business. But I still judge him because you should have got the business straightened out before we get to the point where all of this money is involved. And now
I agree. Everybody
want to have an issue with how the money being split, and we done spent 3 years building a podcast that I paid for. I think I would I genuinely think I would feel away. I don't know if I would air him out like he did, but I would feel away.
I would definitely feel away.
Definitely feel away.
Speaking of friends and connection, so you might notice my shirts. I'm gonna put my friends out later. So last year, I threw Anthony a Catalina wine mixer. Birthday party. And it kind of it was a group trip that us and 4 other couples went on. And one couple, they were renewing their vows. I'm not going to tell that story. We're going to get to that when we have all of them here because that was hilarious. But we all got a house in Deep Creek, and their anniversary was the day before ours, and then Anthony's birthday was a couple days later. And so I did this whole Catalina wine mixer, it was so dope because all of our friends dressed up in shirts. And these are friends that we have just recently became close with within the past 3 or 4 years, mm-hmm. I would say. And so then I rented a boat. Now listen, this is after libations have been poured. And raise your hand if you've ever driven a pontoon boat. Okay, you not you? Okay. So
I don't know why she raised my hand. She learned that day.
Right. So they told me to come early because I was going to get instruction. But they only gave instruction to the jet ski people and then just gave me and told me go on out and
green means go, red means stop.
And pick out a boat. And they told me be mindful of the little buoys in the water because, it tells you when the water's getting shallow, whatever. Now, so we're out here and we're driving this boat. Well, I'm driving the boat and we done hooked up Wi-Fi and we still bought on things and we're eating and drinking. And let me explain. If you've ever driven a pontoon boat, it felt like I was driving a submarine above water because it's huge and it's all this room in front of you. So I've got to keep my eye out while I'm inebriated for other boats, people, buoys,
markers,
all of this.
Rocks, things of that.
So we're just out on the lake, just having a good time. And then I think we all notice we're not moving anymore.
So listen. So remember Friday at the next one, Piggy out the car, like you cutting them corners too fast, too hard. You made me spill yak on this turn out of suit. She was cutting them corners too hard. Like she was in the water and she flying. And we all talking and laughing, having a good time. And then you just see her make this little sharp turn. So you like, I'm like, why she cutting the corners so hard? To continue.
So the boat just shuts off. And we look, and the water is no longer blue. It's brown. So one of our friends, Rudy is like, yeah, I think we want some rocks. So we all sitting here like, how are we going to do this? So we all came up, what about your friends? Let me tell you, when you are stuck, they gonna help you.
Come here, let me get you.
So we all came up, and I inebriated minds. We're gonna rock this boat, rock the boat.
This was the dumbest idea we could have ever thought of. And shout out to Shanisha, my friend, and that's fine for being such. We in our group chat, her name is Inspiration Nish. I'm saying that Nish because she's so inspirational, even in the wrong moments. Right. We are rocking.
No. It's like 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. And Nish is standing there like, you got it. Y'all doing great. It look like we moving. We ain't go nowhere.
We did. We kind of swung the back of the boat out.
We ain't go nowhere.
Now, let me explain something. We're on a lighter complected people lake. So they all driving by looking at us like,
fam, they in these big boats just looking at us like, that's why y'all don't get to come out.
Right. So we trying to figure this out. So we like, okay, what if we get out and push the boat? Who gonna get out and push the boat?
Nobody. We all had the same look. Make the face again.
So
not on duty.
So this lovely boat comes by, and they stop, and they look.
And they are off in the distance.
They are.
And I swear he rolled past 3 times.
He had to.
Just to make sure, I think they really stopped.
So he like, y'all good? We on the boat like, some of us like, yes. Some of us like, no.
No. Yes. Some of us was like, yes. And I don't even know why they were saying yes.
Right.
We are not fine. I'm not okay.
Like, I'm sitting here contemplating calling a boat company like, we need a tow. So this lovely, light-complected man takes his shirt off. He jumps in, we called him Aquaman.
Aquaman. He jumped right in the water.
Got in the water, swam over to us, and he was like, I'm going to help you.
Yep.
So he told me, cut the motor off. I said, the motor is already off. He lifts the motor up.
No. You don't get to skip past that. He didn't lift the motor up. It's a button.
Oh, yes.
On the wheel she's using to accelerate that lifts the motor up.
Yes. So
he's like, just push the up button. It'll lift the motor. So we just looking at my kid like.
They didn't give me that in pontoon.
She didn't pay attention.
They didn't give me that in pontoon education
She
class.
didn't pay attention.
So this lovely man cleans the debris off of the motor. He pulls us out. And then he's like, okay. He put the motor down. And he's like, try it now. It works. We are in the clear. We pulling money out our bags. Like, we got to give you. He was like, no.
We pulling big money because I was like, I don't know how we going to pay for a boat. I'd rather pay this man for helping us. And he just swimming off like, no, we good.
He said, just pass it on. So remember I say I always get Anthony into some stuff? Well, I get my friends into some stuff too. So now we back on track. We driving. We having a good time. I'm driving the submarine. And then I notice everybody looking at me. And I'm like, what y'all looking at?
Tag me in.
You in.
So, hey friends. Remember I said I calculate the risk of everything? Landing on the rocks kind of sobered everybody up. Well, no, it didn't. No. Everybody else was fine. It sobered me up because I was just like, we can't go on the rocks again. So at this juncture, calculated me, I'm just ready to go back. Let's take this boat back. And she was like, no, we still got 25 more minutes. So she take us to the opposite way. And all I'm thinking is just stay in the middle. There's more people over here. People are water skinned. Just stay in the middle. Please don't go to the edges. No more sharp turns. I don't want to spend this yak on my $200 swimming trunks. Just drive straight. So she get the boat there. She going. And then we turn around, we see some houses, and we turn around, we going back to dock the boat. So I'm like, not hate. So I tell my wife, she says I'm such a slow driver. I'm cautious. I drive for me and other people. She's a speed demon. So she's speeding. And I'm just like, I think we're too close to land to be speeding. But she's just like, all of a sudden, she's speeding, and I'm looking at this boat. And I'm like, that's a police boat. And she's the driver. Mind you, she's at the front.
I'm not in the front. It was people that was sitting in front of me.
Oh, so they blocked the view?
Yes.
All right. That's her story she's going to stick with. So she's driving, and I'm like, she is really speeding. And we drive, and we speed past. And I'm just looking at the officer, and everybody else sees the officer except her. She's just like, everybody looking back at me. I'm like, what y'all looking at? They're like, you don't see the police? So I look, lights is on. Lights on behind us. We is on a whole light complected lake. It seemed like the whole lake got quiet because we is the only polka dots out here. Woo, woo, woo. Pull over.
And you can see in her face, she like,
I don't even want to do this. And that I respect to her because she didn't even want to pull us over. She was like, y'all gotta pull over.
Basically, it wasn't even my speeding. It was, we had two guys, Nish and Rudy. I know. Rudy and Nish were sitting on the back, and she was saying that they can't sit on the back while the boat is in motion because if they fall, they could get chopped up by the motor. So, moral of the story is, even though I was speeding, that wasn't why I got pulled over. But leave it to me to be the only person to get pulled over in a pontoon boat.
Just know after she got pulled over by the popo, she took that boat back.
Yeah, I was done. I was like, this too much. I'm not doing this no more.
She got out of there, folks. That was good, man. That was a good time.
It was a good time. Shout out to our friends because they was the real
CK4L.
So, Anthony, what do you have for us?
So it's a rant. Like, we were supposed to go a little deeper into the friends thing, but I'm glad we got to a funner note. But I'm still going to say this. Sometimes you are the problem. People spend a lot of time worrying about how they look to other people and not enough time figuring out who they are. So you don't have to wild a lady out to cut you off in traffic. You ain't got to shut down because you were having a conversation with somebody and they didn't get your point. So you in your bag and your feelings because they shut you down. Like, maybe that lady cut you off because she was on her way to chemotherapy and you were driving slow looking at your phone. Maybe you walked into a conversation with your friend with some weird energy and you're giving them all this negative, black, dark crap. And they're giving it back to you because they're like, hey, you're just not going to dump all this on me. Maybe it's you. Sometimes you are the problem. My grandmother used to always say, you can't change people, but you can change how you react to people. It starts with you. So before you get carried away with blaming everything, everybody, every situation, oh, my past, my daddy wasn't there, just look at yourself and say, what choice could I make better? How could I make this situation better? I can't change people. I can't change how they deal with me. I can't change who like me, who don't. I can change how I react. I can change if I care. So it's on you. At this juncture, sometimes it ain't everybody else. It's just you. Get your stuff together so that the police can't pull you over on the boat no more. I'm done. It's just you. Because you wasn't looking. Just kick it.
So we are in the process of doing some more home renovations to our home.
Eventually.
And we are in the market and looking for people that do home renovations. And I was talking to some people and they were like, oh, go to Home Depot. And there are some...
We are so about to get canceled.
There are some carpenters that kind of hang around the outskirts of Home Depot. So my question is, do I pull up like I'm picking up a prostitute? Like, what do I do? Do I be like,
hey,
here. Anybody good with their hands? Like, what am I supposed to say? How do I kick this conversation off? I just don't know. I contemplated like driving by just to see how this goes and observe like what people do so that they can get these carpenters to come and help them out in their home. So if you have any advice,
do not put it below.
All right, listen, if you have any advice, and he don't want you to put it below, then use this week's hashtag and I'll get back to you. This week's hashtag is, are you good at laying wood?
I quit. Makia is accepting applications for new co-hosts. Insert subject here, pod@gmail.com. That is insert subject here, pod, POD, @gmail. I'm not doing this no more with her. I don't need this type of energy. What about your friends? I can't. But that's the, and that was the one thing. That was one thing I am going to hit. It shouldn't be conditions on your friendship. Like, I love this woman. She is my wife, but she's my best friend. Mm-hmm. And I accept her as she is. It's no conditions. I don't love her any less because we get pulled over by the boat police or the big bouncer in the 4040 Club in Atlantic City almost killed me. Like, I don't love her no less. I know this about her and I accept her without conditions. So it shouldn't be conditions on friendships. That's it for me. Like, oh my God, I can't. This is a good episode because this dummy. Are you good at laying with? I'm done. Listen, put your applications in. Hey, Dave on. It's yours, buddy. Jesus. Well, anyway, with that, I'm Ant.
And I'm Makia.
And thanks for stopping by to talk some ish with us today.
Bye.